Welcome to the Daily African Brief, where we have the most relevant news of Africa. Today we have a special news like Nigerian army killing Islamic extremists, and Egypt referendum on constitution on set for January.
Killed Islamic terrorists in Lawanti and Galilee. Nigerian troops killed 74 members of the Islamic sect Boko Haram in air and ground offensive. The military attack carried out Tuesday against camps in remote villages in the northeastern state of Borno, where the group has its largest presence. The operation, which consisted in air and ground attacks supported by the Nigerian Air Force, led to the destruction of terrorist camps, identified and murder of 74 terrorists. Nigerian forces have intensified attacks on Boko Haram since May, when President Goodluck Jonathan declared an emergency in 3 states in the northeast. Boko Haram is fighting to establish an Islamic state in Nigeria, a country with a religious diversity.
Egypt referendum on constitution set for January. A referendum on Egypt's amended constitution is likely to take place in January, the interim PM has said. Hassan Bebla said the referendum would take place in the second half of January, later than expected. It's a key first step in the political transition after Islamist President Mohamed Morsi was outside in July. A committee of 50 members, few of whom are Islamist, began to work in September on amending the constitution that was pushed through by Mr. Morsi, and parliamentary and presidential elections are expected to follow after the constitution is passed. The army has given the committee a 60-day deadline to finish the draft, and Mr. Bebla called the referendum the most critical moment for Egypt. Supporters of Mr. Morsi has been protesting against the interim authorities and demanding his restatement. They refuse to recognize the current government and are expected to campaign against the referendum.
Egypt's interim president approved a new law on Sunday that restricts protests in the country. Activists and human rights groups have been fighting for years to block passage of the law, which imposed new regulations on demonstration, requiring organizers to get government approval by registering events with authority 3 days in advance. The law, approved by interim President Ali Mansour, allows police to use force against protesters who commit violations. Government officials have argued that the restrictions are necessary to preserve stability and protect the rights of protesters. But some activists say they amount to dangerous repression of peaceful protest. Overall, law is designed to give the police free rein to ban protest. Hava Murajev, Egypt director for Human Rights Watch, said in Twitter post. According to the state-run Al Ahram newspaper, the law requires protests to obtain permissions from the police prior to assembly, and imposes hefty fines for gatherings without advance notification. The law allows police to use a gradual escalation of force, but gives few details about which violations will justify stepping up force. Protests have played a key role in Egyptian politics in recent years, spurring President Hosni Mubarak to step down in 2011 and fueling a military coup that unseated President Mohamed Morsi in July. Demonstrations by Morsi back since his ouster have drawn crackdowns from authorities. Hundreds have died in crashes and security forces.
France to send more troops to Central African Republic. France has agreed to send 800 extra troops to the Central African Republic. CAR Prime Minister Nicolas Tiengaye has said the deployment to the conflict-torn nation would take place, a vote in the UN Security Council expected next week. The UN Deputy Secretary General has called the Council to take urgent action, warning of complete chaos. The CAR has been in a state of chaos since rebels seized the power in March.
Also, in style, we have the details of fashion diversity in Africa.
Sporting overalls, yellow twinked glasses, and arms covered in tattoos, Spliff Maxwell was recently walking along the street in the Maboneng precinct in Johannesburg. Mr. Maxwell, who is opening a vintage store in the area, credits the neighborhood for bringing diversity in fashion to South Africa. It's people from different places coming together, Mr. Maxwell said. You'll see someone who's wearing an English coat but with an African print t-shirt. Maboneng, meaning place of light in Sotho, has transformed in recent years from a crime-ridden neighborhood into a cultural hub for artists and creative types. So it is no surprise that Mr. Maxwell is drawn to the cafe-lined streets and art galleries in the area. One of Mr. Maxwell's favorite pieces in an African print book had made locally by a friend. He does the African print, but in a more modernized way, Mr. Maxwell said. For me, it is not about the pieces that I'm wearing, he said. It's about how I'm feeling when I'm wearing them. And I feel good wearing this hat because I know the guy who made it.
Thank you for watching us. This is the Daily African Brief.